I put my trust in you, and I trust in love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love. I put my trust in you, and I trust in love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love.
Hello, friends. My name is Dane Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain, and we're your fuck buddies.
We are a dating and sex advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situations and turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Simply put, we find questions roaming the internet or from our wonderful listeners. We answer them right here, right now, in this very closet. And where else, Dane?
Also, live on stages.
Yeah, maybe on the 23rd of April, which I believe is the day after this episode airs.
Is it? Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Next week?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, in a week from now when we're recording it. So,
Yikes.
if you're hearing this on the Monday, tomorrow we're doing a live show and you should be there. And it's going to be fun. And it's going to be in the Black Sheep Cocktail Lounge, kind of like a little suave speakeasy hidden on the third floor of Brazenhead in Liberty Village. Tickets are $10 or $15 with a little fancy drink. And we're going to be there spinning hits. And by that, I mean answering questions all night.
I will also be spinning hits in between and before and after. I will be playing my exclusive
his gourmet Pitbull collection.
My Pitbull, curated playlist that I delight and astound and treat everyone to. Mm-hmm. It's funny. I think only one person has ever been like, this is a lot of Pitbull. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone's ever really like clued into the
and
fact
that person's an idiot.
Yeah. There's no such thing as too much Pitbull.
Yeah. Well, you know what's a fun Toronto, nightlife hack that not a lot of people know about? We don't charge for the pre-Pitbull show.
It's true.
So if you get there at like 6:30, you'll be treated to a half hour of free Pitbull. You could even leave then at 7. You shouldn't.
We shouldn't. We don't want you to.
You can.
What you'll hear is Pitbull, and then occasionally Niall and I going check, 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 1, 2, check, check,
which is also a free podcast. And where can you get a free podcast?
At Black. Well, no, it's not free. Never mind.
No, it's not.
No.
But you know what? Enough about that. Today we're going to be talking about breaking out of a bad dating cycle.
An after sexed text.
How do I get rid of my smart look?
I need to learn that one. And pre-like jitters.
Pre-leg jitters?
Pre-like.
Pre-like?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, weird.
Should I just start with that?
I almost want to. I also read out the wrong question because I panicked. So we're not going to get to do the one I really want to. Or maybe we will. Let's fucking crush these. Are you ready?
The ones I have are pretty quick. Okay. So we might be able to get through it.
Well, we're going to start off with a audience question.
Okay.
Thank you. This is Agent Johnny Boy. Subject, fuckboy behavior.
Ooh.
I'm a 23-year-old male. I have a bad cycle when it comes to dating. Situation is, I go hard after a girl I think I really like. If I get the girl, I lose interest / back away when they start having expectations for me. Then when things cool down, we hang out again and it feels better than before, but eventually I back away and break things off. This girl I'm seeing, we'll call Brooke, 23-year-old female. She's a kind, beautiful person and actually a really good fit for me. I'm just too scared to commit. Feels weird to say, I really like you and want to be with you, but I haven't felt normal saying that to anyone. We've had many conversations since the beginning where I say I don't want anything too serious and I don't want to be exclusive. She always says she's fine with it, but seems to hope I'll change my mind. She says she just wants to be with me, but I can't help but notice she wants more. I've broken things off when they get too serious and then we come back and do it all over again. It feels mean. So I'm wondering if y'all have experienced this. Is this classic commitment issues or should I end it because I don't like her as much as she likes me?
I mean, it certainly doesn't seem like a mismatch in terms of like attraction. Like you seem to think very fondly of her. So I don't think that necessarily is. It does give me strong commitment issues, right? Yes. Like that's what it seems like. It seems like you are scared or nervous or unsure, hesitant, insecure,
whatever word you want to use. Yeah.
There's a number of reasons why you can feel this way of being like, I'm choosing this person. And like, I get it. You're young. You're 23. That was around probably my strong hoe phase of being like, there's so many options. There's so many like social activities that you're probably doing and like meeting new people and dating apps. And like, there's a lot of like probably living alone or like out, like have moved out of home. You know what I mean? Like you probably have a lot of independence right now. And it's really difficult to want to give that away.
Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that are on top of possible, like being scared of getting hurt, scared of opening up. Like you seem to ping specifically on like expectations.
Yeah.
So it's like the responsibility of being more, or, you know, being something for someone in that way, which is hard. There's a lot that goes into this, and it could be any number of those things or all of them that are making you hesitant to commit.
Yes. And it also, I don't know if you gave a time frame of how long you've been seeing this person, because that also factors into things.
Yeah.
I would also be unsure or worried about expectations that were being set like 2, 3, 4, 5 months into a relationship if I wasn't ready, or if I was, you know, so like you need to do a hard look and like do an unapologetic look at yourself and be like, hey, am I doing it because I'm insecure, where like something I dealt with when I was younger, being like, I don't think I'm worthy of this person's affection and love and attention.
Yeah.
And therefore I'm going to sabotage it so that I know it's my fault. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, if you can point to the reason why it ended and that was under your control, then there's no questions. There's no whatever. It's still probably hurting you, but in ways you're not as privy to. So it feels like you're keeping yourself safe.
It's easier to be like, oh, I broke it off because, you know, I made that choice, than to take the risk and then get hurt. And then you'd be like, oh, you decided that you didn't like me enough to do that. Like, that's, of course, that's harder to hear. So you do need to do a sort of like emotional inventory of yourself and get a baseline, like an honest baseline. And this is going to suck, probably. Right. Like, I have a hard time believing as a 23-year-old dude that you won't find some things that you don't like. And that's fine.
Yeah, that's growth.
No one is expecting you to be perfect. And least of all, should you expect to be perfect.
Yeah. And I think the more problematic situation in this is if you take a hard look and you go, damn, 100%. I passed with flying colors. I absolutely am perfect.
Yeah, I did it. There's nothing wrong and nothing I need to work on.
Nothing can be improved.
Yeah.
Damn, this is it. I've peaked. I'm 23 and I'm there.
Yeah. So you might have to, maybe you do recognize, be like, oh shit, yeah, I'm totally terrified of not being enough for someone. And I think that perhaps I'm not enough for someone. That is, I feel like, a very universal thing that a lot of dudes will go through at some point in time. And that's fine. That's great. Clock it, note it, and be like, okay, she has pretty much done a lot of hard work for you, being like, hey, I want to be with you. Yeah. I want to spend time with you. Those are great things to listen to and believe, right? I think we do a lot of mental gymnastics, especially as men. Yourself
that they don't really mean that,
a lie, you know, there's
they're
something
being nice, or
I think you've got half answers, right? Like, I think he's tipped the puzzle box on the table, and he's kind of got the borders.
Well, I say to that, I think he has answered his own question, and I think he's forgotten he's answered his own question. And I think that's why it's so clear that he's lying to himself.
Okay.
Because he says at the top, beautiful, kind, really good fit for me, and then says, I'm just too scared to commit.
Yeah.
It feels weird to say, I really like you, I want to be with you. But then at the end says, should I end it because I don't like her as much as she likes me?
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from?
Yeah.
You literally say you like her and heavily imply that you want to ask her out, and then you state you're too scared to.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can get from that to she likes me more than I like her. It's like, that doesn't seem to be the issue here.
Yeah.
Especially because she seems to be, like you said, you think she wants to change her mind. You think she wants to move forward. She says she's happy just being with you right now. So it feels like a lot of projecting or self-defensive, like, you know, coming up with these, maybe she likes me too. Like, you like her and you're too scared to commit. That is totally fine.
Yeah. That's a normal thing. That is,
hey, been there.
Yeah.
You know, that's totally fine. But being honest with yourself is key, because it feels like that last sentence isn't being honest. And do I think you should end things with her for that reason? No, because from what I've read, that isn't
the reason
or a reason.
Yeah. So I think there are other things, like you being like, oh, hey, I've had the conversation and been like, oh, I'm not looking for anything too serious. I want to keep it casual, blah, blah, blah. Those are great conversations to have. And those are also conversations that you continue to have.
Yes.
Right?
It's not like you had it once. Yeah. You're like, well, shit.
You had that conversation. Now have another conversation. Be like, hey, I've grown to really, really like you. I don't think I'm quite ready to make a big leap, but I just want to sort of reiterate how much I like you and how much I want to spend time with you and how much I want to continue to see where this goes. And that gives them an opportunity to
Check
suss
in
it
as
out,
well. Yeah.
right? Like if they might be like, look, we've been seeing each other for X amount of time, and if you're not quite ready, I think I might have to pursue something else.
Mhm.
And like, that's fine. That's not a you problem. That's not a her problem. That's just
Yeah, for sure.
that's when you start talking about not being the right fit. But she might be like, great, cool. I'm also really enjoying it. And then might say, this is how I feel. This is what I want. This is, and keep it about yourselves and
Yes.
not,
Don't be like, what are we? What do you
Yes.
want? Say, this is what I want. This is
And-
where I'm at.
and most importantly, don't try to guess what she wants to hear.
Yes.
That is,
And also don't like hold back
yeah,
to be cool or to be safe or, whatever. It's like, you
sugarcoat
don't-
things. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't gain anything by not being honest in these. Like, if you really like someone and you're like, yeah, things are fine, that sucks for you, for them.
Mhm.
Like, there's no point. You don't
Yeah.
gain. And that's kind of what I want to say as well as to the fear of commitment. It's like, I get it. Been there. We all feel it in certain ways at certain times.
Yeah.
But like, if you want to be with someone, clearly there are reasons you want to be with them.
Mhm.
And you have to weigh those against the risks of opening up your emotions like that, your vulnerabilities. And like, it sucks, but they're all very manageable. If things don't work out, I don't think you're going to be much more hurt than you are going to be throwing away things that could be great.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be more intense. Maybe it'll be trickier if you move in and you have to deal with that and all that. But like, people deal with that and much worse every day. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We've all been through shitty, messy breakups, and it's of course a hell, but it is a hell that you get through, and it is not better than never getting to those highs of the relationship prior.
Yeah.
No end of a relationship for me has ever been worse than everything else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Even if it really sucks. So the risk is worth it. And I think the fact that we as a species continue to date means we all do agree to some extent that the risk is worth it. So like, don't hold yourself back, because you can deal with the bad stuff if it happens. But in between now and then, there could be so much good fucking stuff, and the bad stuff might not happen. You know? You could end amicably. You could end, neutrally. You could not end. You know what I mean?
That's the thing, is like, you have to, I mean, the way I've always seen it is the risk you take, like falling in love with someone is the expectation of being like, oh, you can hurt me.
Mhm.
And then trusting that they won't.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that it won't end in heartbreak, because even if like my last relationship ended fairly amicable and fairly mutually, and we were just like, yeah, we've been together for 7 years, and who we were isn't who we are.
Mhm.
And that path that we were on together is now diverging, and it doesn't make any sense to be together anymore. That still sucked,
Mhm.
right? Like, that still hurt, but it hurt way less and in a much different way than being like, we're going to drive this into the fucking ground.
For sure.
One of us is going to cheat on each other,
We're gonna be miserable.
or we're going to get really cold, and we're going to get really bitter,
Yeah.
and we're going to get really mean. Like,
Just things are going to keep getting worse, and
Yeah.
then this is going to happen anyway.
so you have to trust someone enough to be like, I know I'm giving you a fairly fragile package,
Mhm.
and I now trust you to take care of that package. And I now have the onus of taking care of the package that you've just given me.
Because it's an exchange, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it could suck, but it could also fucking be awesome. And it probably will be awesome far more than it sucks, and for far longer.
Yeah.
And if it isn't, you'll be fine. Like, you can definitely make it through that. Because again, I think what you're doing is a little like death by 1,000 cuts of suckage, because
Mhm.
clearly you've noticed a pattern. Clearly you're unhappy with this pattern, or else you wouldn't be here in this closet with us,
Yeah.
cramped, in the corner. So you know that you're still hurting yourself, and maybe others. You said you feel like you're being mean, right?
Yeah.
That's not a nice way to feel. So I don't think you're saving yourself anything by not committing. If you want to commit, you know what I mean? And I think you should go for it.
I also think you should. If after you do this sort of inventory, if you think you're in a place to date, I think you should date. Otherwise, you need to have that conversation and be like, hey, I'm checking in with you. We've been seeing each other for X amount of time. Here's how I feel. I would love to know how you feel, and have a very frank and honest discussion
Mhm.
about like that metric. And like, again, don't be like, oh, maybe I'll be ready to date you in X. Don't talk about like possibilities. Don't talk about where
don't
you
time
could
frames
be.
either.
Yeah.
And don't be like, give it 2 weeks. Like, that's unfair on both of you, because
Yeah.
you're going to be panicking to be like, shit, I have to make a decision in 2 weeks. She's going to be like, great, in 2 weeks, I get an answer.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I also think this is a good time to, if your relationship currently is like, we meet up and we fuck, maybe be like, hey, I would like to go for dinner next week.
Yeah.
Or I would like to like come hang out mine, still fuck by all means, but like watch a movie, make a fucking Lego set. I don't know, do some cool shit together. Like transition a little bit more, like sample what dating is. And you could definitely say like, hey, I'm starting to really like you. I would like to, maybe while keeping it casual, maybe explore like going on a date.
Yeah.
And like, if she's like, nah, that's not it for me, I'm sure that's going to suck to hear, but it'll be nice to get that weight off your chest in both you admitting and now you not having to worry about it going forward, right? Yeah. Whereas if you just keep it here, I think you're going to be miserable. So if you're ready to date, go for it. If you're not ready, but you're not currently doing stuff and you do like this person, maybe transition it more towards some dates. And again, be honest with yourself and be honest with them. But this cycle that you're in, and I think we all know it doesn't serve you. Yeah. And if it did, you wouldn't be here.
Yep.
Good luck.
This is from Potential General. What should you text a girl after sex? I had sex with a girl last night and was wondering what to text her today.
Nice puss.
For context, she was really freaking and definitely not sexually shy. I was something like, hey, baby, I had a good time last night. Can't stop thinking about you.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
That's great. Like, no one is going to be sad about that. Now, it's not as good as nice puss. And you're right. Like, you did add more details. Like, nice puss, she's a little freaky and she's definitely not shy.
Yeah. Wait, is that what you would text?
Yeah.
So you talk about her like in a third person?
Her puss, yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Just send a text. Hey, your puss there? Let me talk to her. This ain't for you.
You got to call her. Yeah, like you nailed it. And like, think about it from your perspective. If someone texts you that, you'd be fucking happy as shit, right?
Yes.
And it's not weird.
No.
It's not like you're not like it's vague, but like that's fine. You don't have to be anymore. Like I don't really just being like, yeah, I had a really great time.
So the reason I brought it was because there were so many people in the comments being like, that's too clingy. That's too whatever.
Oh
that's
God.
Like you're coming out too strong. Play it cool. Play blah. And I was just like, this is why we are in the place that we are. Yeah. This is why things are so fucking terrible.
Like, what's their play it cool option? Is it just to not send them something? No, why? Like fuck off. That's again, put yourself in their shoes. If you didn't hear anything from the person, what would you think? You wouldn't be like, God, they're cool. You'd be like, oh shit, they hate me and my puss.
Oh, is it bad puss?
Is it my fucking dangly William? She hates it. Just send that. And if the person you had sex with thinks that's weird, you don't want to fuck them.
That's my point. Is like we've gotten so strange with communication, especially with like sort of auxiliary communication about sex, that like this isn't a weird thing to say. To have a really great sexual experience and then to text the person the next day, be like, hey, that was fucking hot. And I can't stop thinking about it. I can't wait to see you again. If that weirds someone out, that's their fucking problem. Yeah. Right. And like that is something I learned sort of in my late 20s, sort of before and in this sort of like most recent stint of bachelorhood, is being like, if people don't want to communicate on the level that I want to communicate, then like that's not going to work for me. And I want to know that ASAP. Yes. So I'm going to send a little fucking spicy, little sexy, flirty, like good job, thumbs up, pat on the back text. And if they're like weird about it, then it's like, I don't want to now have to worry about like, are you going to be weird about this text? Are you going to be weird? I want to be like, I'm going to send you a text and I want you to fire back in kind or similar, right? And
the thing is, like, what you need to do is do you, right? So if this is what comes to mind, send it, right? Because one, you're doing you're being genuine, you're being honest. That's one, going to be easy for you. Two, it's going to be nice for you. Three, it's nice for them because they get to see you. And four, if, as you said, you don't mesh in some way, so much better to figure that out sooner in this easy way than to like hedge your bets and fuck shit up and be weird and cold. And then maybe it works. And then at some point you can't keep the pretense going any longer. And you send this text and they're like, ew, you had a good time. Oh, like That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
What's more likely is you act cool and the person's like, they don't fucking like
Yeah,
you.
they're so disinterested. Oh, it's just like he fucked me and then like ghosted me.
Yeah.
And, or
But
like, oh, he only messages me when he wants to fuck
Yes.
and doesn't think about me any other time.
Yeah.
Like, it's dumb.
I think it's far better to fuck something up being honest and genuine and you than, because again, that's a good thing, than it is to fuck something up by pretending to be somebody else.
Yeah.
Because if you pretended to be this cool whatever and it ruined it, that's like a tragedy because you could have had this cool thing
Yeah.
just by being you. Whereas if you lose something by being you, that's not a tragedy. That's a good thing because you've gotten to a point where you realize you're not going to work anyway. It's a win, win, win.
Now, I will say,
Win, 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 win.
you do need to filter it through social expectations and norms.
I always want to caveat that
Yeah.
be you. If you're a fucking little freak, and I don't mean that in a good way, like I mean in like a garden gnome kind of way.
Yeah, if you're like,
I'm not going to wash my hands for a week because my
Yeah.
fingernails still smell like your puss. Like, no, sir. Please. I can't. Why am I keep saying puss? I said it as a joke
I don't
to
know,
be
man.
gross, and now people are going to be like, that's him.
but there are like, I've also like, I've had times where people have been like it. I don't want to give examples of
No.
what's wrong because like I've
Someone
definitely
might like that.
I've definitely had like people be like I woke up this morning and it's like I still kind of smell like you, or like
Yeah.
there have been
that's
times where
fine.
like I've like had a sort of like mid-afternoon hookup or whatever, and it's like I'll be like, I can still smell you on my beard and it's so fucking
Yeah.
hot. And some people have been like, that is so fucking
Yeah.
hot.
So,
Right? So it's like,
instead of doing a example, because you're right, the context, people, relationships,
Yeah.
timing, wording, tone, emojis, they all change all of this. But if I just don't want to give people carte blanche to be shitheads.
Yes.
So
That's
don't
what
be a
I'm saying.
shithead. Don't be weird.
think about consent. Think about how to respectfully
Yes.
discuss sex. Think about respect and all that.
All
like
the
kind of
stuff we've said the last 260 episodes.
Yes.
But send the fucking message.
Send
Because
the
again,
message.
it's a win-win.
Yeah.
This is Net Charming. How do I get rid of my smart look? Hi guys, 21-year-old male from Manitoba. I have a problem with girls.
Oh, hey, look, if you're from Manitoba, you do not have to worry about looking smart.
Let me start with saying I'm a very smart young man. I love talking about politics, economics, history, culture, religion, sports, and many other things. I have so many hobbies and interests. I'm very extroverted and I can talk to people, especially girls, pretty easy. Problem is, I sometimes come off as he knows everything, and people don't like that about me, including my male friends. Also, my looks is pretty average, or what girls said, peaceful, smart, nice. Every time I hear the word nice, it makes me so mad. Like I'm not even trying to talk to them. I'm just very well articulated and love talking to people in a very respectful manner and tone. But unfortunately, the dating world, and especially the girls, my generation as well, don't appreciate that at all. How do I get rid of my smart, nice look? Like for clothes, I like both streetwear, quiet luxury, old money. I don't have specific style. What I've noticed is guys who dress in streetwear get the most girls. I live in a very small city in Canada, so the culture here is a mix of modern culture, old conservative, and everything in between. For example, it is so common to marry your first ever girlfriend or date to marry. It is not the same in Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, where materialism, feminism, and other modern social norms is very prevalent, which affects the dating market. For those who change their clothes looks, how do I change as well? I don't want to stick to one style. I like sometimes going out with my trouser, a nice white shirt, and my Doc Marten shoes. Sometimes cargo jeans with my Jordans, a nice half-zip sweater.
Is that it? That's it? How? Okay, boy. All right.
It is from Seduction, in case.
What? One, I do want to just go back to my Manitoba dunk. I'm sure there's all kinds of nice people, but I have to have a villain era. And this is I'm going to
Damn,
terrorize.
you come for Taylor Swift, you're coming for Manitoba.
Hey, one of those things deserves it. And I won't tell you which one. It's Manitoba for sure. I mean, I think I'm just going to terrorize and antagonize the prairies
Okay,
for the most part.
okay.
And this is
Even
done.
our boys, Dr. DC, aren't they up?
No, they're in the Yukon.
Northwest? Is that not? I'm not from here.
No, the Yukon is quite the opposite of
Isn't it the prairies, the Northwest prairies?
Northwest Territories.
Northwest prairies?
Territories. No, the Northwest Territories is like a large.
Okay. Well, you're safe for now, Dr. DC.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not the Yukon.
For now.
The Yukon is sort of the prairies of the North.
For now.
For now, the Yukon is safe.
All right. Hit me with some thoughts here.
it's once again, it's one of those things where it's like you have decided one thing is the problem, and then in your explanation of what you thought is the problem,
You
have
pointed
revealed
out
the real problem is you are so in your own head and so like focused on a very specific thing. Like you have boiled down your persona to I'm smart and I'm just very smart. And everything I do is so smart.
Yeah.
And people can't handle how smart I am.
Yeah.
And then like you also go on things where it's like you're like, oh, I'm in a small town. And like you also say something like new style old money or something. Like all your phrases, everything you said and all the ways you said it make you sound like a giant douchebag.
Yes, 100%. Also, like, let me start with saying I have many problems. One is that for a very smart man, you describe yourself as I'm a very smart young man. It's fucking weird, bro. I don't know. Like, who gives a fuck? You're not in primary school, you know?
I don't like.
Secondly,
I would consider myself a fairly well-learned man.
Mhm.
I don't think I would ever describe myself as I don't think I would be like I'm a smart guy
because you don't have to, because you are.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I don't think you actually ever have to say it unless you aren't, or you're very either obsessed or insecure about it, right? It's like, you know, so there's that. Secondly, you say you're very smart, and I don't want to pick apart people's grammar and how they word things and their writing abilities. I'm very smart young man. I'm a very smart young man. You know what I mean? Like, you fuck up constantly.
You're just outside the gate, like right out the gate.
Right? Yeah. Like, it's almost like a joke. How do I change as well? Like, is your phone just a nightmare? Because smart people edit. Anyway, that's just an aside.
Yes.
It's very clear that your obsession with like we've seen this before, and it's a very particular like genre of boy where you're like, I'm so smart. People just aren't on my level because of how smart I am. I like to talk about smart topics such as these, and I talk respectfully. And it's like, this just makes me think that you're arrogant, condescending, and probably insufferable.
And probably wrong.
Yes, or like, just because someone doesn't want to sit down and talk fucking economics with you doesn't mean they're not smart. It means you're at a party and there are better things to do, such as actually getting laid.
Yeah, like there's a number of things, and like the thing where you're just like, oh well, sometimes I like to wear my shorts with my Jordans. Like it's like you've painted these pictures of like this is a look. Mm-hmm. When I get dressed in the morning, I'm like, where are the jeans that I want to wear every day because they're comfortable?
Yeah.
And what clean shirt do I have? Like, very rarely do I think of putting together an outfit. And there's nothing wrong with putting, like, no. I understand other people have priorities and really do, like.
But I feel like this man has them in the wrong way, in that, like, if you were like, hey, now, what do you wear to, like, pick up or whatever? I'd be like, a nice shirt with some nice trousers.
But it's also like, you know, I don't know. Where am I? Exactly. What was I doing the day before? But because we had gone to places like the Underground, which was, I'm sure we've mentioned it before, Niall and I's old like bar stomping ground. It is where we sort of like learned our, like, inspired a lot of this podcast of like seeing what worked, what didn't work,
or just like mainly seeing people being gigantic creeps and being like, nope.
And like there were definitely days where like we had big active days, like we would spend most of the day in the park playing fucking football or soccer or something, and then just be like, oops, now we're transitioning into night and we're still wearing our fucking shorts, we're still wearing our t-shirt, and we have the exact same amount of success
for sure.
as so it's like the fixation on like clothing,
it doesn't matter.
It's like the fucking How I Met Your Mother scene where Barney like wears the fucking garbage bag. It's like, it doesn't matter what you fucking put on. It doesn't matter. It's, if you're a weirdo, if you're an insufferable douchebag, you could be dressed in...
No clothes is going to hide that.
Yeah. You can be dressed in anything and it doesn't fucking matter. You can look like a dirtbag. You can look like a fucking, runway model. It doesn't fucking matter if you're...
Now, it can help for sure, but it can help in the way where, like, if you're wearing clothes that fit you well, are clean, and you're comfortable in, boom, great. That doesn't mean, you have to have Jordans. If someone cares whether you're wearing Jordans or not, they probably suck, and good for you, I guess.
And again, you're not like the smart, like you're not looking for connections.
Yeah.
If if you think that your Jordans are going to, you know what I mean? Like
sway it one way or another, right?
It's all so like interconnected of being like, you have a very specific worldview of like, this is how it works. And like, I want to put the fucking, the feminism thing where it's like, is that a good thing? Are you saying that, like, you know what I mean? It's like,
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many like red flags here, like him being like women of my generation.
Yeah.
Mentioning old, like just, there's so much, even when he's like, I hate when people say I'm nice. It's like, you've got so much, like, this is the perfect seduction boy. You know what I mean? He's about to be converted into like a YouTube channel where he goes to Eaton Center and harasses people. Also, at no point is someone saying, oh, I'm not dating you because you look smart.
Yeah.
So it's like you say, oh, I have this personality people don't like. How do I not look smart? And it's like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
It's not a teen fucking movie from the 90s where we're going to take your glasses off and all of a sudden you're going to be hot.
Maybe,
right?
though.
Doubt it.
You lose the sweater vest and the fucking glasses and all of a sudden you're...
If you're wearing a sweater vest,
the problem
maybe
is...
you pull it off, though. I've seen some boys rock a sweater vest.
Oh, 100%.
I couldn't, but some boys can, and that's fine.
If this was a woman, it would be easy. However,
hair down, glasses off.
The thing, like, what you need to do in order for this to work for a man, you have to grow your hair out so you can take a ponytail out. Because,
but it's the opposite. Then I think it's like you see him and he's kind of like skater boy, and you're like, oh, whatever. And then he puts up in his sexy man bun, and you're like,
is that it? Is that the reverse?
Yeah, it is. And you put your glasses on, and that's the thing. Shit. Glasses are in. They're hot.
I now just got glasses.
I did,
and I couldn't be more jealous.
What? I you know what? You're the only person I've worn them in front of.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't you wear them at karaoke that one night?
No.
You should. You look great in them.
I don't know.
I
can't do another hour talking about our insecurities.
I've always wanted glasses. That's why I wear my fucking blue light when I'm working and stuff. It's like they're functional, but it's like there are times where I'm just like, I'm gonna keep wearing these. I'm gonna keep wearing these.
I will say I'm getting used to them. When I first got them, I was like, for many reasons, mainly because apparently I'm fucking blind as shit, and these guys are strong. They're like binoculars, which is also weird because I really don't feel like my eyes aren't good. Like, there are specific occasions. Anyway, just, dude, you sound like a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't want to come for you like this. You sound like a bit of a dick. Chill. You don't have to. I think you're going out there trying to prove to people how smart you are. If you're smart, you don't need to do that. And also, no one gives a fuck how smart you are, really. And
it's the way it's like you carry any sort of high, like quality of yourself, right? It's like, we've all seen those terrible, cringy YouTube videos or the TikTok videos of like a rich person and a real rich person, where it's like the one person is like, the rich person is like talking about how much money they have and the rich person doesn't, or like any sort of thing, right?
I will say that's kind of true though. You know, if someone starts talking about how rich they are, like in a bar, I'm going to get 0%.
I know. The second you start talking about how much money you make and you've got your fancy fucking like black Amex card, I know I'm getting 10%.
Yeah.
But
at best,
the quiet, middle-aged dude who's sitting there drinking his like, Bud Light and fucking chicken wings, who's minding his own business and asked me very politely if I could put a certain sports game on. That's the dude who's going to tip me like fucking 35%.
And then gets off in his flying yacht and goes off into this, and you're like, shit, it was Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just take a step back. You don't need to prove this to people. You know what I mean? And the best way to I don't know how to help.
If you're smart, you're smart.
Yeah.
If you're hot, you're hot. If you're wealthy, you're wealthy.
Okay.
Like, you don't need to project these things.
Let's put it this way. I'm sure if this guy was at a party and this strong guy came in and was like, hey, look, and he walked over and he lifted up the table, and then he went over and he like lifted up the microwave, and he was like, grabs a girl, just starts lifting her, and they'd be like, get the fuck off me. And like, he'd be like, guys, I'm so muscly, I'm so buff, people don't like me, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So if you saw this guy, you'd be like, this meathead, you'd be so annoyed at him. You're doing that, but with your brain muscles.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah.
If I walked into a party and started kick flipping, actually, that'd be fucking cool.
Yeah, it'd be pretty awesome.
If I was just like, hey, have you listened to my podcast? Oh, no, that's what I do.
Oh, no. Yeah. So just like chill. If you have a cool attribute, let it shine through naturally.
Yes.
You don't need to fucking blast it out there. All that does is it shows you how insecure you are and that you've hung your entire persona and personality and self-worth on this one thing that might not even be true.
Yeah.
Again, you might love talking about philosophy. You might love talking about religion. You might love talking about politics. I've had conversation about all three of those things with people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, sure, you might like talking about it. But if you're also dumb and misinformed, then you're not smart.
No.
And you're not showing that you're smart to anyone.
Also, like, yeah, you could just have the worst takes too. Like, I don't fucking know. Also, a lot of like smart guys who love to talk about religion like to have hot takes or like shut people down or play devil's advocate, all of which are kind of super toxic.
Yeah.
So just be you and like step away from the things that don't matter, which is the specific outfit you're wearing. Wear clothes you like. Wear clothes that are comfortable. Wear clothes that look good and fit and are clean. That's great. Don't be like, I have to wear my Jordans. I have to wear
With
the
my
specific,
my
like,
half-zipped hoodie.
Yeah,
And
you're micro focusing or hyper focusing on like these tiny things that do not matter. Take a breath, relax. I can only imagine you are wound as tight as a fucking spring 24/7.
And just like waiting for your chance to drop some like asinine fact about whatever. Like you're probably sitting in a bar and it's like the
Someone's
second
like,
someone's
oh
like,
my God, I have a hot take.
did you know Jesus?
Did you know that God is a woman? That would be a cool one to drop.
Yeah, it'd be a cool hot take.
One, if you sang it exactly like my girl, and two, it's pretty feminist of you for Manitoba.
Yeah. This is the Night Owls. Not sure if I should send likes yet.
No.
I'm on 2 dating apps. Seriously. And there are people that I find attractive
Whoa.
and want to talk to them.
Okay, Jesus, hold on. Keep going. I'm ready.
But I have thoughts that come up that make me think I'm not ready to. But part of me is tired of being alone.
Damn. You know what? Maybe don't send the likes. You don't sound like you're ready.
This is, yes. Like if you are having an existential crisis
Over
about,
the most mundane thing. That's like saying, I want to like say thanks to the bus driver when I leave.
yeah.
What's going to happen? It's expected. In fact, you should do it. Maybe not as much over here. You people are fucking rude, but
So are our bus drivers.
you think Dublin bus drivers aren't?
They were lovely, everyone.
Yeah, because you're with me and everyone knows me.
It like, yes, it's like being like, hey, you know what I've never had buffalo wings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to download Uber Eats. And then you just sit there staring at like, should I order it?
Yeah, the app is for liking people.
And that is the bulk of what you do.
Yeah. And it's much like the conversation earlier where it's like, if you say, hey, had a really good night last night. That was super fun. I want to see you again. If someone's weirded out by that, they're fucking weird and something's going on here. If someone's weirded out because they got a like from you on a dating app, unless they're like your sister or something,
yes,
you're fucking safe. You're good. It's their issue.
Yeah. And look,
you don't even need to do anything. If they like you back, you can still freeze and throw your phone in the toilet and run away, right? Like,
that's the thing is like, what happens if they like you back? If you're having fucking existential spirals because of just opening an app and being like, what happens when you get a match? Like, are you gonna feel the same way? Like, because there's enough people wasting everyone's time on dating apps. Don't add to the cause. So figure out what these, again, you're so vague with your like, I have thoughts that I shouldn't do it.
Why?
Sure.
Why? And much like the guy with the relationship, like the commitment issue earlier, think about what are you risking here?
Yeah.
They're not going to be like, ew, a like from Gregory. Again, unless they're your sister, bud. Don't like her on Tinder.
Yeah. If you come across your sister, don't like her.
Yeah. Or your mom or your granny, a close aunt.
Yeah.
You're good, dude. What's going to go wrong?
You just take a breath. I think we're all stressed out.
Yeah.
I think we're all
I'm getting stressed now.
We're all sort of wound up. Relax.
There's too many dishwashers in this apartment for me to be calm.
It's true. You open up your app, and the whole point of the app is to send a like or say no.
Yeah.
That is what.
That's it.
Literally,
the only two.
The millions of other people are doing the exact same thing on your end. They're saying yes, they're saying no.
Yeah.
Just do it.
And they're not even probably going to know you said yes unless they also said yes.
In which case, it's fine.
Good. You're in the best situation then.
Yeah. You've both said yes.
Yeah.
And you've said nothing to each other.
It's wonderful. You're good.
Relax.
You're fine.
It's okay.
Now, do you want me to hit you with one? I got kind of a long one. I got kind of a short one. But I do also have very long bad sex writing.
Okay, let's You know, here, let's do. I have a very quick
Okay, go
one.
for it.
I have a very, very quick one. I keep opening up pictures of brown recluse spiders on my phone.
Why?
Someone posted an Instagram story and they were like, my toddler loves this. I was like, I'm like 90% sure that's a brown recluse and maybe you shouldn't let your toddler play with it. This is from Tizona Blue. How to get more endurance while on top. I'm not talking about climaxing, which isn't a problem. I'm talking about stamina for pump action. I feel like I get tired after 5 minutes or so and need to switch positions or relax for a little bit. I have to preface this by saying I am fit, around 21 BMI. I strength train daily, so I'm not sure why I get tired so easily.
Your BMI has no bearing on this and is in fact bullshit. So
Yeah.
let's get that out of the way. 2, strength training is not cardio.
Yeah, bro, have you done cardio? Are
Yeah.
you skipping cardio, bro?
Yeah. 3, strength training is like the meme is you skip leg day. And guess what? Those beefy arms of yours aren't much use. So
Yeah.
in that position, so
Yeah, unless...
are you doing legs? And one of the prime reasons men aren't often great at sex is because they have no flexibility, no like hip mobility, no fucking leg.
No core strength?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you listed all these things and all you've done is prove you know nothing about what's needed in the arena of the bedroom.
In the rectangle octagon.
The rectangulaton.
Yeah, like think about what like missionary, it's practically a plank. Like if you're horizontal, like you can obviously sit up on your knees or whatever, but going back to Niall's point, if you're kneeling, that's hip flexibility,
Yeah.
that's leg and hamstring flexibility. It's why I don't really do it that much because my legs are fucked. I prefer
I
to
have the most flexible fucking legs. I can fuck you from any position.
I've got good hips. My hips are okay.
Everything.
But my
business,
quads and hammies so tight.
everything down here. Oof.
I
I can
prefer
basically do the splits.
also, are you just pounding away?
Mhm.
Like if you're just jackhammering, yeah, no one could do that for like
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it for 5 minutes. I wouldn't want to.
No, you wouldn't want to.
Like find a rhythm. Speed isn't the only way to success. Like you can
It's but a tool in your arsenal.
Yes.
It's but one muscle in your musculature.
it's what you do when she says don't stop. That's perfect.
Yes,
That's when you kick it into high gear and change it up completely.
yeah, and then come just too soon for her, and you roll over and say, "That was great, babe. I called you an Uber."
Yeah, good puss.
Good puss.
Remember that scene in that show that Adam Driver was in? And he
Where
was just like,
drove her puss?
good puss.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
There's a scene, I think it's from Girls, where he's like eating soup and he just goes,
Good
soup.
Okay, yeah, fair.
which apparently was an improvised line.
What a genius.
What a genius.
Wow, how did he come up with that?
I don't know, man. We're going to be talking about it for years. It's like I'm walking here.
So yeah, like cardio, if you're like running out of breath, cardio.
If you're getting winded,
You know what I mean?
cardiovascular health.
For sure. If you can't maintain positions because your legs are like you can't get in positions, or if you do, it's uncomfortable, stretch. If it's a muscle issue, if like you cannot maintain thrusting, core strength.
Yeah.
And all 3 should be utilized.
Figure out, like, think about the positions you're in. Are you doing anything while you're working out with those positions? Are you know what I mean? Like, are you stretching your hips out? Are you stretching your quads and your hamstrings out? Are you doing planks? Like, you want to fucking get good at missionary? Yeah, crush a plank position. That's pretty much what you're in. If you're doing that, you're good. Like if you,
I'm just imagining like just a full actual plank, like you're up on your toes, you're ramrod straight, you're on your thing, you're just like, because that would be so bad for everyone.
It wouldn't be
involved.
great.
So don't take Dane too literally here,
Yes.
please. But you know what it takes. You've got to know your bulging biceps don't help in this situation.
Yeah, unless the only way she can come is if you bench press her. Like
then she's on top.
Yeah, it's true. You're like think.
That's the thing. He's fine with that. He just lift her up and down because he's so buff, and that's great.
That's great.
Because I can't do that.
I love that for you, but you got to do cardio. Get on the treadmill at the end of your workout.
I'm sorry, bud, but you cannot skip leg day.
Yeah,
maybe you've gone too hard on leg day. Because that's apparently a thing as well. Very muscular men also have no range of motion.
Yes.
That's why the dad bod reigns supreme.
Mm-hmm. We did it.
We did it.
That's going to do it for this episode, friends. Thank you very much for joining us this week. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed this. We're back in the closet again. This is nice. I've missed this energy.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, like, you know, the online recording was fine. It was convenient, but now Nell and I are neighbors.
Yeah, it's
And-
wild. And now I just pop by and harass Dane.
Yeah.
And I'm in this closet 24/7. You know what? Fuck Tinders this week. I'm just going to do this really long bad sex right.
Okay, let me get comfy then. I'm sorry for this audio nightmare this chair is, because it's probably going to
It's
make lots of noise.
While you do that, I'll thank Josh Eagle and the Harvest Cities for their song Paper Stars, which is, as some may or may not know, our theme song.
Mhm.
Come to our fucking show. Go to our Patreon. Support us. Love you. So this is long. We're going to have a little talk about Maybe. This is by, I won't read out their name because, like, I don't think they realize what they're doing. It's not a seduction. It's not a whatever. This is from our writing. I'm thinking about writing a book about knights, saving a queen, but it's not what you think. I've noticed the virginity rate for men is at an all-time high, and no one is talking about it. Whenever I talk about it, people just call me an incel and ignore the problem. It's a big issue, and it's sad so many people ignore the problems and sadness of so many young men. I thought making a book about this issue can cause some good, so people can relate to it. It's about a group of young men, mostly teens, in a village in the Middle Ages. The king says the queen has been kidnapped by an evil wizard and says to the men that if they save the queen, she will take their virginity and be in the royal family, and so many of them, mostly in groups, to work together to go find the base go. But they do it because losing your virginity to them is honor. It's the highlight of your life. If you don't lose it, then what are you? You have to lose it. Having sex is the ultimate form of communication to these young men. You're truly one with the other human being, and in oneness is true peace. With mating, you have no more fears. It is eternal love. No more shame, no more fear, no more worry. It's just pure love on all levels. Who are you if you don't achieve this greatness? Traveling through the woods, fighting wild animals, and breaking into the base of a crazy wizard is worth it to finally lose your past self and embrace a new one. Yet during the final battle in this base, one of the young men sees something mysterious. It's the fruit from the Garden of Eden. The crazy wizard somehow found it. The young knight wonders what would happen if he ate it. His friend comes to him and sees the same fruit. His friend says, "Don't worry about it. Go to the princess and finally get your reward."
Well, hold on. It's a princess or a queen?
Get over it. Yet the young knight is confused. Here is the lost fruit for the origins of mankind, of every religion made by God, and now he has the opportunity to take a bite of it. His friend thinks he's crazy, and now is the chance to finally lose their virginity and be a part of the royal bloodline and be within inner peace. The young knight thinks to himself and goes towards the fruit and takes a bite out of it. At that moment, his eyes start to glow. Everything around him goes foggy. Suddenly he sees time from the very start happen, from the beginning of all animals, man, every country, then soon seeing the future with technology and smartphones. Then bam, he's back in the present, shaking with his hand on the fruit, his eyes still glowing, shaking, worrying about what he just saw. That's what I've thought of so far. What do you guys think?
I mean, you kind of lost the plot at the end there a little bit, a little Assassin's Creed 3 at the end there. I love that he's like, once you have sex, everything makes sense. Everything is good. I was like,
No past self.
hey, I got bad news for you, bro. People having sex have more problems now. There's insecurities. There's what do you think happens after sex? It's like you have sex with one person once, and then it's just like, we did it. Credits roll. Everyone's happy. I don't know why I sang that. I just felt like it conveyed what I feel like he thinks happens.
Even just like, I love here, like, people call me an incel, and that's like, sex is a reward for men from women, and it's the only thing that matters, and everyone should have it. It's like,
Yeah.
huh?
And
It fixes everything, and it gets rid of my old self, and I can be a new person. It's like, one, dude.
And the king is fully capable of making the promise that the princess / queen will have sex with them without their consent. It's like, hey, what?
Yeah, and a bunch of boys will just be like, hell yeah, I'm gonna fuck this woman I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll fuck her for saving her. Like,
Without her consent, just because a king said I could.
yeah.
Look, you know what's really going to happen? If this adventure went the way it would, like, I think organically, these boys would fuck each other. These boys would be fucking hand jobbing each other.
Well, the best is in the like comments, like, as it devolves, everyone is obviously like, what the fuck are you doing, bud? And everyone's like, this is a super creepy, weird, bad story. And he's like, no, it's not. Like, yeah, dude. Like, you're like, oh, people call me an incel. And then you post weird, creepy incel shit. And he's like, it's fantasy. It's not supposed to be real. And everyone's like, well, what about the princess or the queen's perspective? And he's like, don't think about them. If you think about them, the story's totally different. And everyone's like, yeah.
Yes.
He's like, no, but like, they don't exist in this. Like, it's fine. It's just about the boys. And everyone's like, yeah. He's like, oh no, it's fantasy. Don't you get it? But he's like, oh, at the end, only one man is allowed to fuck her, but then him and his friend make a deal to fuck her together at the same time. I'm like, you just take the princess out of it and you can fuck this friend. It'll be a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like this guy being like, don't eat the truth apple, please. Yeah. I mean, like, I do get strong homoerotic undertones under this.
Man,
So
you should have seen the first fantasy books I wrote. They were all about like young topless men playing in the water together. It was, whew. Sometimes I wonder. I read them all to my partner. She was like, it's happening again. I'm like, I know, I'm reading it. I wrote this like 20 years ago. Why is it so homoerotic? But you know what? It rocks.
That's all that matters. There ain't nothing wrong with some sweaty boys, some homoerotic. We have the beach volleyball scene from Top Gun, and that's one of our greatest artistic achievements.
All the best scenes from the podcast are super homoerotic. Not this one, No Quest. Also
Sure.
this one. I don't know.
I mean, also maybe this one.
Yeah. I love one comment. When the queen saved and random strangers say, your husband promised we could bang you. I'm going to watch you and my friend first, then I'll have a turn because that's what best friends do. Is she going to say, cool, sounds legit? Or are you going to light a few candles, put on a good few sheets, blah, blah, blah. And someone's like, one of the nights is going to pull out a lute and start playing Seabat.
Oh, Seabat, you'll live on forever. Speaking of our greatest artistic achievements.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Hey, look, it's got potential for a like gay coming of age,
Literally.
boys learning to love boys.
Two men,
Yeah.
two boys
Like
in men.
if they're just like, nah, fuck this whole quest. Let's just stay in the woods fighting animals and fucking each other.
Honestly, that would be a hit.
That you've got a bestseller.
Yeah.
But yes, you can't be complain about incel being called an incel and then proceed
Then
to
just whip out the most incel shit ever, bro.
yeah. Yeah. And but like this is why we have this problem. A lot of people don't see the problem,
Mhm.
even if they are speaking directly to the problem.
Yeah, and like, look, I'm gonna take a step away from fun ribbing you because I know it's probably the worst way to get someone like this on our side is to fucking mock them. I get where you're coming from. You're frustrated, right? But you have to realize that sex isn't owed to you. Sex isn't a thing. Women are just, they're not sex objects. They're not just a sex dispensary for you. And like you getting more frustrated by the day that these women haven't given you what you are owed, which is sex. That's not life. That's not it.
And also that sex isn't a solution to
it's
anything.
a solution to, I would say, absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Like get on the sex subreddit and see all of the problems that sex has caused. Not
Look at
that
this podcast.
not that sex is bad, not that there isn't beauty in sex, not that there isn't pleasure
No,
in sex.
it's unreal.
It's
But
incredible.
it's a thing with humans, and all things with humans are an absolute mess.
Yeah, it's not a solution. A lot of people think like if I just had sex, I would be X, I could be Y, I could be whatever, and it's like everything would be okay if I just have sex. Then you have sex, and then you get ghosted, and then what?
Yeah.
Or you have sex,
And it's bad.
and you get an STI, or you get someone pregnant, or it's not great, or you finish too fast,
Yeah.
or you don't get erect, or
Mhm.
like the sex is not a prize to
no.
be won. It is another level of a relationship that poses its own new unique challenges and
It
issues.
literally just adds problems to your life.
Yeah.
You know, not that it's bad. Again, it's great.
We're not here to
But-
trash talk sex, but yes, the second you
Look,
sprinkle
guys.
sex on top of
You're just opening a door, and opening that door fucking rules, man. But behind that door are a bunch of new problems you've never met.
Yeah,
And
a
then you're
whole-
like, hey, get in here.
a whole new set of doors that you
Yeah.
don't have the key for yet.
And none of that's a bad thing, but it definitely 100% is not just like, well, life's good now. Look at anybody. Look at any teen drama. They have sex, and the show just gets more complicated.
It's true. Buffy gave a vampire or took a vampire's soul away.
Exactly. That could happen to you
Do you want your soul snatched?
by a snatch.
Good puss. My name is Dave Miller.
And my name is Niall Spain.
We've been your fuck buddy.
It's
Plural.
true.